Hi, my name is Joe, and in this video, I'm going to explain what a CRM or a customer relationship manager can do for your service business. So, my name is Joe. I'm the founder of Local Pro Helper, as well as the owner of Deptford Fence in South Jersey. If you haven't seen any other of my videos, started 5 years ago with no experience. 3 years later, we did a little over $1 million in sales. 2 years after that, we basically doubled that number. So, what my goal is for this channel is basically to help business owners, specifically contractors and people that provide a service to their local community, how to work less and earn more. And how we do that is through different advertising techniques, using Google My Business, looking at how to raise our prices without losing jobs and things like that. So if that sounds like something that's good for you, then please consider subscribing to this channel and sharing these videos if they're helpful to you, to your contractor buddies as well, so we can all improve our businesses. Okay, so what is a CRM? A CRM basically allows you to not only keep in touch with your customers or potential customers, but it also allows you to figure out which ones should require more of your time than the other ones. Because what happens, there's basically two ways to look at it. So the one way is if you're familiar with funnels at all, which a lot of contractors aren't, that's more of an internet marketing side of things. But we're going to pretend, so we have this funnel up here, and it goes all the way down here. Okay? So this is basically, they have no idea about you, your company. They don't even know if they, in my case, I own a fence company. I don't know what you do. But just say for fencing, they have no idea they even want a fence. Okay? That's all the way up top. And then all the way at the bottom is the money. And this is where they actually book their job and they pay you. Okay? And then there's all levels in between. Okay? So I hope this is about right, because I honestly didn't give much thought to this video, but I know it's a question everyone asks, so I'm like, let's answer this thing. So this is, again, they have no idea. Okay? Then this one here is pretend you did like a Facebook post, or you do some Facebook ads, something like that, and they just so happen to watch your video. Okay? So now they're just aware. Okay? Basically aware of you and service. Okay? And then here is they actually took the time to contact you. Okay? Do another line there. And then once we get to this stage, this is where they actually have you come out to do a quote. Okay? And then this right here, like I said, this is where they actually book the job. Okay? So these are basically, the 5 levels of your business, okay? The people that have no idea about you or, want the service. Okay, then we have the aware of you and your service, and then at that point, they're interested enough in the point where they're actually going to contact you, and then we have a quote, and then we book a job, okay? And actually, we really could have added another one in between, and this one is a visited website. So there's actually like 6 levels, okay? So again, they have no idea. Now they're aware of you. Now they visited your website, and then after that, they contacted you, and that could be, from phone or emails, okay? And then this is where they actually have you come out to do a quote, and this is where they book the job. So what a CRM does, and I personally use Job Nimbus because and we were using Jobber before. Jobber's awesome as a scheduling program, but Job Nimbus excels in the CRM functionality where Jobber didn't really have any of that. So what will end up happening, and they have it listed, you can set it up separately, but you would have basically this. Okay? And same thing, this is the money. This is where they contacted you. We probably need one more. I'll just leave it as is. But basically, they're going to start in your business in here. Okay? In our case, once we start using the CRM in Job Nimbus, so what happens is this is where they contacted us. Okay? So this is where they contacted us, and then this is where they actually booked the job. But what the CRM allows you to do, and this is, it goes to here, then here, then here, and then finally the money. Well, what it allows you to do, just say you had 100 customers contact you that month, and you actually follow up with your customers, and that's not something we ever did before. We just started doing it. Magically, our sales get better. Go figure. But imagine that you had 100 customers that contacted you, and you actually follow up with all of them. Okay, you're constantly going after them. Well, what'll happen is you're spending all your time, 100% of your time for those 100 customers. So what that means is basically every customer is not getting, they're getting equal attention, but the problem is which ones in here are actually like your dream, like out of those 100, you book 10 of those jobs. Which ones are which are the 10? At this point, you don't know. But with the CRM, this is all your 100, okay? And then maybe this next one, they use your online price tool. Okay? So here they contacted you, but they have no idea what the price is. These people here used it, used the online price tool, so now they know what their project's going to cost. Okay? And we're going to say that like it's 70, those customers. Okay? So 70 people use the online price tool. So how this helps is if these, out of this, if 30 people decided not to even use the online price tool, we personally don't even bother with them at that point. Okay? So now we narrowed it down to like 70 people that we have to follow up with over the course of the month. Okay? So you're saving yourself some time, and then you're also being able to spend more time with the people that matter more. Okay? So we have that. The next one is they called after price or after the tool. So at this point, people have just contacted us. These people use the tool so they know what the price is. These people actually contacted us after they used the price tool. Now, why is that important? Because, I do fencing, whatever you do. But most people, 9 times out of 10, when they're looking to have a project being done, they have no idea what it thing costs. So I can't tell you how many times people will call and we'll tell them the price is $7,000. And then they're like, oh my God, I thought it was going to be like $4,000. Well, what do you think it means at that point? If they thought 4, and it's really $7,000, what are the chances that they actually move forward at that point? Because it's such a big swing difference. The chances are not very likely. But if they find out it's $7,000 and then they still contact you anyway, well, these people are a hell of a lot more likely to get to this point than these people. And they're like 3 times more likely to get there compared to these people. Okay? And for here, we're going to say that 30 people did that. So now what happens is you started out with 100. Now you only are focusing on 30 people for that month. That means you saved all that time and you're delegating or putting all your time and effort into these 30 people that already know your price, their price or approximate price, and they still want to talk to you. Like that's super important. Okay? So now we get to the final step before this. Now what we do is and notice I said online price tool, notice I didn't say quote. Like if you don't do an online price tool, then you're doing like an on-site quote. Okay? Which is a waste of time, but that's just my opinion. Now the final step before they actually book the job is here, they're paying for an on-site consultation. Okay? So our process works is they come into our atmosphere somehow, either Google ads or Facebook ads or the Google My Business setting, whatever it may be. And the first step we want to do is get them onto the price tool. Okay, that's what we do. After that, after they use the price tool, at that point they're sent automatic emails that are helpful emails that say, the first like 2 of them are like, hey, we know you use the price tool. Would you like a more accurate quote? Because when they use it, it's not 100% accurate. It's pretty close. Like if their project, it'll say their project's between like $7,000 and $8,000. So then they would have to call, and they'll get this message through the automatic email. So I don't even have to do anything. Is then they at that point, do you want to, a more updated price? At that point, I give them 3 options. They're either going to call us right away, they can email us, or they can schedule a time we use Calendly, and they can do it that way. So then once they do that, then they're here. Okay. And then finally, after we talk to them and we give them their price over the phone, and we say, Mrs. Jones, your project's going to be right around $7,600. Okay. At that point, we're pretty good at knowing what we do. Now, for us, it's easier just because with fencing, we literally just use a GPS tool, draw the thing out, and then we've built a program where it spits out like it knows exactly how many panels, how many posts, what our price is, what we pay for, what we're going to end up charging the customer. It shows us like our profit, it shows everything. But then at that point, Mrs. Jones, it's $7,800 or $7,500, whatever. And they're like, okay, great. Can someone come out to give us a firm estimate? So at that point, we say, sure, no problem, Mrs. Jones. But just to let you know, we do charge a $75 on-site consultation fee. However, if you decide to move forward, that price gets rolled into the project. Okay? So that does one thing really well. It finds out who the tire kickers are and who aren't. Because everyone will say, oh, $7,500, that's fine. Like, yeah, have someone come out. But the problem is most of them are window shopping. Like, they're almost dreaming about getting this fence, but they're never going to get it anyway because it's $7,500. Or they are still shopping around. So they might say, yeah, Joe, it's $7,500, sounds great, please come out. But the problem is they're still price shopping. So they have you coming out, and then they got 2 or 3 other companies coming out, and then they're just really looking to find out who can, the best salesperson is to talk them into it, or they're looking for the cheapest price. Well, we don't want to do that. We don't want to waste our time. We used to do that. We used to go out to 60, 70 quotes a week and, book 8 jobs. Or we go out to like 10 quotes and book 8 jobs. Like, this is what we do. Okay? So they pay for this. And out of that, only 10 people paid. Okay? So now they already paid us $75 to go out to their property, right? They already know their price. What are the chances that these 10 people are getting it to this column? The chances are, like, it's almost guaranteed. If, like I said, if we have 10 consultations and we go to 10, we are going to book at least 7 of them, but chances are 8 or 9. Okay? And the other 1 or 2, we'll probably book them down the line, or they became into a, there's been a few where like a water heater blows up or whatever else, and expenses and families lost their job or whatever, and then they don't move forward. But in the grand majority of the things, 80% of these people are going with us. So at this point, this is what a CRM does for you, because now what it'll do is it's going to list, out of all these contacts, right? It'll list you 100 names. Okay? Then to this one, it's going to list out 70 names. This one's 30. This one's only 10. Now what we do is we spend all our time and attention on these 10 people because they're most likely to go forward with us. Then after we do that, then we go to this column and start hitting these people up. And then what we do with this is these people, if they say, yeah, we're still interested, but we're going to wait a few weeks or a few months or whatever, based upon what they say, we have these secondary folders. Okay? And the first one is, just say 12 plus months. The next one's going to be 6. The next one's going to be 2. This one's like ASAP. Okay? And the reason why we do this, and it seems complicated, but it was overwhelming at first, but if you just look at it like this, how you go from 100 to 70 to 30 to 10 people that you have to worry about, it makes life so much easier. But once you get to this, depending if they got here or whatever, and they're like, yeah, we're still looking to move forward, but it's going to be 12 months, 6 months, 2 months, or ASAP, well, then what happens is we, after talking to them, we start shoving them into these columns. Why do we do that? Because we have things that are automatically set up that, and there's one more. Actually, there's 2 more. Okay, so once they get up to this point, so we went through this and we followed up and like this is where they are. And it could even be from here, the original people that we contacted are even here, and we find out that they're going to be further away than like people that want to get their job done now. Okay, so what happens is when we shove them in here, the people for the ASAP, this is a follow-up. Okay. So what happens is these people, after they're in there for 7 days, on the 8th day, they go here. So then we follow up with them. And then depending on what they say, we put them back in here. Like before they might have been ASAP, but then they're like, you know what, because of the cost, we're going to be more like 2 months away, or it's close to winter, so we're going to wait till March. So we put them in one of these columns. Okay? So this is there for like 7 days. Now this one, if they're 2 months out, well now we're waiting 14 days. And then same thing, they're going to come in here, and depending on what they tell us, they go back into these. 6 months. Now this one's going to be like, actually these 2 are the same, but this would be, 30 days, like a month, and same thing with, and I'm sorry, this one, when they're, and actually it's really not 12 months, we use like just these 3. If it's going to be 12 plus, then we will say to them, hey, if they say, they call in November or December, and they're not looking forward to move, they're not going to move forward till like next fall. So like, okay, Mrs. Jones, no problem. Do you mind if I follow up with you in October? And they say, sure, no problem. So then we'll set a task, and it'll remind us in October to contact Mrs. Jones. Okay, so forget about this one. So again, this would be 7 days, this would be 14 days, and then this would be, in the month. So then once this person comes in, we find out, hey, just touch a base, you're making out, blah, blah, blah. And you would have notes down. That's the other part of the CRM. You can actually put notes in for the customer, like has a dog, or we're getting it because of the dog, or we're about to have a baby, or whatever. And then when you contact Mrs. Jones 30 days later, you say, hey, Mrs. Jones, I just wanted to see how you're making out. How's the new pup doing? How's your grandkids? Whatever whatever's in your system, you talk about that. Because it's not like, hey, Mrs. Jones, you ready to buy a fence? No, you're building a relationship. Okay? So we do that. And again, depending on what she says, after a month, she goes back into these columns. If it's still going to be like 6 months away, then we wait another 30 days. The other thing that could happen is they decide not to move forward for whatever reason. So we'll just put done. Not done, done, like done zone. You know, so whatever it may be, like if they decide they're just not going to move forward, or they end up because they're going to move to another house, or whatever it may be, and then done, then they would just go here. Okay? So then you're just left with this. So again, I know this seems like a lot, but it's really not. What we're trying to do is focus on the most important ones. The same process goes here if you like this version better. But basically what we're going to do is, instead of focusing on all 100 people, we're finding out who is the most important that we should be talking to. And again, it's this person. And then from there, these people are getting sent into here, and then we can figure out where they want to go. And then the goal is obviously to get them from here down to here, to the page for the on-site consultation. And then after that, our main goal is getting to the money. And that's what a CRM will do for your service business. Without it, it's, well, us personally, like I said, this is the first year, and actually it's only been a few months at this point, that we've actually focused on following up with customers, because normally we're just too busy, and two, I didn't want to. Like, I didn't want to be the pushy and everything else. But there's been so many people that are like, thank you for following up with me. You know, I had another question or whatever it may be, and you're right there answering it for them. And who do you think they're going to end up going with if you've been their trusted ally answering questions or following up to see how they've been? Like, they're going to end up going with you. And not only are they going to go with you, they're going to be willing to pay more money with you as well. Because, and if, yeah, I'm not going to go into a tangent, but there's another video which basically explains how you can go from like $7,000 to $7,500 to even $8,500 for the same exact job. Because the people that want this job, the $7,000 job, are a different type of person that want the $8,500 job. This person just wants it to get in as quickly or as cheaply as possible and don't really care about anything else. They don't care about the materials. They don't care about customer service. They don't care about anything. But these people, the $8,500 people, they're actually, one, the surprising part, they're much easier to deal with. Like this, the cheap people are a pain in the ass. But the people that are willing to pay more, they're not only a better customer to deal with, you actually like interacting with them. But basically what they're looking for is something that's more valuable than the actual fence or whatever service that you provide. And what they're looking for is the peace of mind, knowing that basically their project's going to go smooth. And then if there's an issue, they just want to know that the issue is corrected immediately without having to send a search party to get the company to come and fix the issue. And for the people, you know, they're willing to pay that extra $1,500 for that peace of mind and the fact that they know everything's going to go smoothly, and if not, it's just going to be corrected, because they're busy, or for them, the $1,500 is less important than the time they can spend with their family. It's less important than the time you're taking away from their work. It's less important than the constant headaches they're going to have by dealing with someone else. So watch the video on that. Hopefully this all makes sense. I know this is a bunch, but I'm telling you, this will save so much time in your business. And not only that, your sales are going to increase so much, because especially if you have not followed up with anyone before. You would think it like you're going to be annoying and you think you're going to come off like a car salesman and everything else. You're not. And the other thing, like this whole, paying for the on-site consult, most people don't do that, but you can easily do that. And like I said, we went from like 60, 70 quotes a week. So that meant I used to work like 80 hours a week just doing quotes all day or all week, to now I have someone else do it, but we only do like 10 a week. And not only that, those 10 we do, that I pay my guy like $20-some an hour to do it, I'm doing 10, okay? I made $750. Those 10 I can knock out in 2 days, because now we're giving them more time. Before, we were just running. Like every quote, they get a total of an hour. That includes drive time, everything else. So if it takes 45 minutes to get there, well, sorry, you're getting 15 minutes of my time. Well, instead, now what we're doing is spending like an hour with the customer if they want the hour. And so we're getting paid $750. And I'm only paying a guy 2 days worth of labor to do it. So I'm paying him like $400 after taxes and everything else. So I'm still making $350 by scheduling that on-site consultation, even if they don't move forward. Like, it's simple. Like the entire business, when you start looking at it from, the 30,000 foot level, basically from a plane looking straight down, everything is so much easier than what we really thought it to be. I know business was, I thought it was like extremely hard when I'm working 80 hours a week. But now that I'm working 15 minutes a day, I'm like, it's all simple. Like, it's one big math game. And as long as you know the different things, it makes life easier. If I haven't mentioned already, check out the link below. There's other videos that are super helpful. There's also the one for the profit planner. It will change the way you look at your business. Not only that, there's a future planner in there that will show you exactly what happens to your business if you make small changes. And a lot of the changes, I mean, are next to nothing. Like this whole going from 7,000 to 7,500, this means you could go from like working 70 hours a week to working like 60 hours a week. Right there. And I'm throwing crap, and then my classes. And then if you watch the video on how to go from 7 to 85, this is how you go from like 70 hours a week down to like 40 hours a week. Or it goes from working the same amount of hours, but adding like $100,000 to your bottom line next year. And bottom line, not like sales, bottom line, like in your pocket. So have a great day. Thanks.